So he's obviously, trying to gambit this pawn to unleash this bishop, maybe on c6 on this diagonal. But I'm not too concerned about, winning a pawn. I don't care. I'll leave that as a constant threat. Bishop takes c4. At the right moment, it might be good. And as it turned out, later it was, great when I played it. Knight h5. So I'm following now this plan, f4, f5. King b8, so f4, now g4. And these pawns are potentially dangerous. So all of a sudden, although I've lost my h pawn, it's got some positional pressure that if I ever get f5 and f6, this pawn's going to be targeted by this rook. So it's not all bad here. Rivka gives black is better though at the moment. So f6, king b1. He took now on e5, a bit controversial maybe, because I'm taking with the d pawn here. I don't want to give his queen the g5 square so easily. Now knight b6. Apparently that's a blunder here. So black in this position is minus 0 point something 48, and apparently just bishop c6 and black would be fine with a slight advantage. So play might continue. Rook he1, rook ge8. Okay, that might be the case, because I think the idea of the computer here is to hold up white playing f5 just to keep the pressure on e5, and if I ever take this knight, then that bishop will be really good on this diagonal. So I think that black's fine here. But what he played turned into a bit of a disaster. He played knight b6, and I played now f5, and I've got getting almost an advantage now. Especially after queen g5, I play f6. So these pawns are getting quite dangerous, and potentially I'm getting an attack on h6. He plays g6, and here I was thinking knight g3 is a bit passive actually. If I play knight g3, let's put that as a new variation. Although I'm attacking, he can play h5. So he's exploiting that temporary pin. I thought he'd be okay, but apparently here Rybka doesn't, mind white so much. Just in fact, taking on just sacking the knight is apparently possible. Queen f4 and hg6. Oh, these pawns are all of a sudden quite menacing, and probably they give white a big advantage. So I didn't see that, but anyway, I thought the knight going to g7 would be quite tasty here. So the knight went to g7 because it's eyeing e6. It's doing something useful on g7. And also, maybe if I get time, if I reinforce e5, then queen h2 to attack his h6 pawn. Anyway, he plays knight c4 again now. And it's here where bishop takes c4 is very interesting to consider. And I wonder if you can spot why in this position you'd want to potentially unleash this bishop. Apparently, if you played bishop c4, if I give you 10 seconds, okay, 10 seconds starting from now, I wonder if you can spot why bishop c4 is a good idea. Okay, I was delighted to see something really quite beautiful here. After bishop takes c4, this is quite easy to calculate the variations because they're very forced. So, so Kotov's fluffy, cute toy called Candidate Moves really comes into its own here, as a dangerous weapon, because it's very, very clear cut if they're very forcing moves here. So, what very forcing move here is useful for white, you think? I'll give you another 10 seconds here. Okay, rook takes d7, so black has to take, and now you may have spotted it. 5 seconds. Knight takes e6, so the queen is almost checkmated apart from one square to go to. So it can't go to h4, it can't go to f4, can't take on e5. It can play queen d2. But also black could attack my queen. Now let's just have a look quickly at queen d2. This didn't happen in the game because queen takes, rook takes. What does white have here, you think? The exchange down, but 5 seconds. White has f7, just winning a rook and ending up a knight up. So I was very pleased with that. But he played rook d2, and I managed to play a very good move here. Can you spot it? I'll give you 5 seconds. Okay, I played queen e4, and literally the queen is still, pardon me, checkmated here. Apparently, though, knight takes g5 was also reasonably good, crushing. Let's have a look. Rook takes h2. Rybka's changing its mind. It's only a slight advantage for white here, with knight h7. So this is no good, especially rook h6. Black will be dead equal here. In fact, better with rook d8, because black's now threatening a mate in one and also coming to d2. So just ignoring these pawns. So basically, I played a very strong move after rook d2. I played queen e4. So I'm basically forcing him to sacrifice his rook now to give his queen the escape square of d2. So I'm a whole piece up here. I play king b1. He takes on c3. And now there's some really clear clinical moves that I start missing for second best moves. I did find the second best Rybka move here. The actual best move, I wonder if you can spot the best move if I give you 5 seconds, starting from now. Okay, according to Rybka and its brute force, calculation, looking at millions of positions a second, it thinks rook c1, and that does seem to me, now that I've seen it, the quickest way to extinguish black's checks, because check, king o1, where's the checks? White's now threatening f7, end of game. So that would have been the quickest, but I kind of prolonged the game here by playing what I thought was an attractive move. I played actually rook h2 because I want to answer this check with rook b2 and I b7 and threaten mate myself. But the computer doesn't care about threatening mate or having scary positions. It's looking at the concrete best moves. There's no emotions involved. It's completely emotionally detached, just looking at all the positions. And rook c1 is the right move. Rook h2 is the second best move. He plays now queen g3, and now my opponent pointed out in post-mortem that there's a killer move here which would extinguish black quite quickly, and I managed to miss it again for I don't even know if it's a fourth best move. Can you spot the clinical move here if I give you 5 seconds? Okay, the clinical move is just rook g2, because where are the checks? I don't know if I was getting tired or something, because this seems such an obvious move to consider now, because all I need is one tempo to play f7. And if queen c3 to come with a check on there, that's just hopeless. Because queen b4, then rook b2, and there's no checks, and I'm threatening mate if he moves the queen. So I don't know why I just missed rook g2. I played actually in this position rook b2. I just was attracted with this idea of threatening mate, so instead of queening my pawn, and I give him this check. I thought they would run out quite quickly. I suppose I was convinced that this was also winning, but he prolongs the struggle now. He plays b5.